We're going to jump into a Week 4 preview, Falcons versus Browns. But first, we've got a like battle between Falcons today and the Browns report here at Chat Sports. And Cleveland's got the leg up on Atlanta so far. So if you want to win this battle, hit that thumbs up icon to start today's show. Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here, getting you guys ready for ATL versus CLE Week 4 from Atlanta. Should be a fun game. Jacoby Brissett versus Marcus Mariota. Two teams that people didn't have high expectations for offensively coming into this season, and two teams that are putting up some big numbers so far. So we're going to go through the injury report. We'll check out some keys to victory and all that good stuff. But first, let's kick off the show with a bit of a round of applause for number 84, Cordarrelle Patterson. He was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week after his awesome Week 3 performance. 17 carries, 141 yards, 1 touchdown, a 40-yard dash as well, 40-yard long dash at least. And this is the first time earning this honor. He has earned special teams, but never Offensive Player this week, and it just proves that he continues to be one of the most elusive, and I know there's only one unicorn on the Falcons, but might there be two, because it is difficult to bring down 84. Now, on to the injury frontier. The Falcons are beginning to stack up players on the IR. Deion Jones, who has been there since the start of the season, is joined by Marlon Davidson, Damian Williams, Jalen Mayfield, Vincent Taylor, and Isaiah Oliver, okay? Now, that's not good, but there is some good news, at least in terms of the early injury report between both the Falcons and the Browns. Atlanta currently only carries one player with an injury designation, that being Cordarrelle Patterson. So, pretty good start right there in terms of things are a lot better in Atlanta than at least in Cleveland, where they have been pretty hit hard by the injury bug here. So, moving on though, Elijah Wilkinson, offensive lineman. He missed the Seahawks game due to a personal matter. He is the Falcons starting left guard. Pro Football Focus so far giving him an overall grade of 50.2. He has fared pretty similar-ish in pass versus run, better in pass blocking, but it hasn't been a pretty scene. We're talking about a former Chicago Bear that couldn't really strike the starting lineup up there in Chicago. Of course, Ryan Pace just extends an open invite to all former Bears players to come down to the Falcons, and he's got himself a 62 overall rank among all qualifying guards. All right, this could be the possible replacement now for Elijah Wilkinson, Colby Gossett. So, former App State product too. Revenge game here. Former Cleveland Brown, that might be some pretty good incentive to push around some of the big fellas up front for the Browns. PFF grades for Gossett, 66.1 overall, 69.5 run blocking, 72.2 pass blocking. All right. Luckily, like we said, there's not too many injuries for the Dirty Birds. That's good to see, because by Week 4, the NFL can become a war of attrition, can it not? So for the Falcons to come into this healthier than the Browns, who we'll get to in a minute, because they're missing some of their key players probably for this Week 4 matchup. That's got to be a good sigh of confidence for Arthur Smith and company. All right, if you are looking for a Falcons YouTube channel, by the way, that's going to get you free Falcons news, rumors, trade rumors, anything under the sun related to the Atlanta Falcons. Help us out by getting us to 8,000 subscribers. The way it works here at Chat Sports, the more subscribers, the more studio space. So 290 of you guys watching that have not subscribed, help us out by clicking onto that sub button. Let's check out some Browns injuries now. So, Cleveland, like I said, they're dealing with a handful of injuries. These are just some of the notable names. The list is actually a lot longer. The list is so long, we don't have space on screen for it. Anthony Walker, he got placed on IR after the Week 3 win against Pittsburgh. But Clowney, he's dealing with an ankle injury. Head coach Kevin Stefanski said he is day-to-day. Myles Garrett, if you don't recall, he emerged from a pretty scary car accident on Monday. He's dealing with a shoulder and bicep strain. The Browns have not ruled out Myles Garrett for Sunday's matchup just yet. It seems like a long shot to go from a big car wreck on Monday to playing on Sunday. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, they like him a lot at linebacker. He's currently nursing a groin injury. Taven Bryant, one of their starting defensive tackles, also nursing a hamstring injury. And then Joel Bitonio, 2 straight weeks with a bicep injury. He played in week 3 through it. Decent chance he'll play through week 4. But Myles Garrett, like we said, probably the biggest storyline here because whenever the team's best player is hurt, that's going to be a tipping scale factor for the opposing team. Now, will he be able to good to go? Hard to say. There's not really a playbook for car crash on Monday, can you play Sunday? Now, Garrett is Iron Man. He's going to want to go out there most likely. Wouldn't be surprised if the front office says, listen, Myles, pump the brakes a little bit here. No pun intended. That was a mean joke. But slow things down. You'll get back on the field when you're ready. All right, Jadeveon Clowney, meanwhile, he missed all of week 3 with an ankle sprain. This is definitely something that's close to watch in terms of whether or not he will return to the Southeast and be able to go. Missed week 3, ankle injury, not something you want to play with. I'm not overly optimistic he will be playing, which could be a huge advantage for the Falcons if the Browns are down their 2 pass rushers. All right, Joel Bitonio, the guy who's going to be dealing with this Falcons front 4 and this pass rush led by Grady Jarrett. He's dealing with a bicep injury. Like I said, played in week 3. Good chance he plays in week 4. He's, after all, one of the best interior offensive linemen in football. Now, this is going to be interesting. I know you don't see this very often on shows, but Myles Garrett's not dealing with your run-of-the-mill injury. And there's a human element to this, believe it or not. And it's not just about, good, this helps the Falcons out. So let's show Myles some love, all right? Let's show Myles Garrett some love. Type 95. I think that would be a very classy thing of Falcons fans to do of, hey, there's things bigger than football in life. Happy to see you walk away from that pretty scary car wreck without any major injury. So type that down below as we jump into some keys to victory here. I'm doing all caps mode. Stop turning the ball over. This is sort of cookie cutter, right? I don't think there's any key to victory for any team that involves turning the ball over. But Marcus Mariota needs to be smarter with the football. He needs to make better decisions. He has 3 interceptions and 5 fumbles so far in the season. That's not going to cut it, especially coming up against a Browns defense that's been underwhelming, that's given up big plays. If you want to help your team win here, Marcus Mariota, don't feed into this declining Browns defense by giving out free handouts so they can start building some confidence. Now, we've got more keys to victory to get to in just a moment, but BetUS, our proud sportsbook partner, has an awesome deal for the Dirty Birds. When you go to chatsports.com/betfalcons and use promo code Falcons125, they're going to give you a 125% deposit bonus. Ladies and gentlemen, there is no other sportsbook out there that's giving you this big of a deposit bonus. If you want to bet on the Falcons, it's a pick 'em right now. Make your bets at chatsports.com/betfalcons. Promo code Falcons125. Second key to victory, slow down the Browns rushing duo. So Cleveland, obviously, without Deshaun Watson, has been leaning heavily on these 2 guys, who you might have heard of. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Chubb making his return to the Peach State, and Kareem Hunt, well, he is not from Georgia. He's from Ohio. But they're both very good at football. This is no surprise here. And it's easier said than done in terms of slowing these guys down. But there's only so much you can do in terms of stopping Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt because they're pretty good at yards after contact and shedding tackles and whatnot. But I think a lot of the recipe for success for Cleveland sure comes from Chubb and Hunt, but it also comes from the front 5 here. One of the better offensive lines in football. So it's going to be up to Arnold Ebiketie and Walker and Grady Jarrett to try and manufacture some pressure, some pass rush, and blowing these guys off the snap here and meeting Chubb and Hunt in the backfield because they're going to get yards after contact. It's just a question of if you get them 1 yard behind the line of scrimmage, they only get 3, that's only a gain of 2 versus meeting them after 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. That's where we go to Grady Jarrett, one of the best interior defensive linemen in football. 2.5 sacks this season, 4 tackles for loss. If the Falcons are going to, I wouldn't say upset the Browns, but if they're going to come away with a victory in this one, a lot's going to have to fall onto Grady Jarrett's shoulders here. He must control the line of scrimmage. He has got to come out and play some of his best football. So, one more time for the people in the back. Jarrett must control the line of scrimmage. He has got to play some of his best ball yet because the Browns, they're not shying away or hiding from it. They want to run it. It's up to you to try and stop it. Key number 3, keep the Kyle Pitts momentum going. I know Arthur Smith said after the Week 2 loss, this isn't fantasy football. Well, you know what, Arthur? Maybe treat it like fantasy football because getting your playmakers the football is never a bad idea in a season where you need to see growth from these guys. You're not out here, no offense, to win a Super Bowl this year. That's not realistically in the plan. The plan this season is to see this guy, number 8, and number 5, Drake London, look like top players at their positions. So keep getting Kyle Pitts the ball, at least give him targets, right? Trust him to make these explosive plays. The Browns, they are banged up at linebacker. They lost Anthony Walker. They have struggled in pass coverage. A big key to success for Atlanta might be those seam routes up the middle, and that's where Pitts can be lethal. Final key to victory, shut down Amari Cooper. The Browns' passing game has run through the former Alabama Crimson Tide wide receiver Amari Cooper, now in his first season with the Cleveland Browns, and he has been sharp the last 2 weeks, posting over 100 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. He has been one of the best receivers for the Browns, and 2 weeks ago, against the Jets, he had 101 yards, 1 touchdown, and then last week against the Steelers, also going off for 101 yards and a touchdown. Amari Cooper, the air raid runs through this guy. There has been no other Browns wide receiver who has really stepped up and taken control. So, A.J. Terrell, this is your assignment. It's going to be you versus Cooper. This will be one of the better battles to watch all game long. If Terrell takes Cooper out of the game and forces the Browns to go to another receiver like Donovan Peoples-Jones, who's had some games here and there, but has never really ran away with the game before, that's going to be a big key to success. Now, I've given you guys 4 keys to victory for the for the Falcons. What is your biggest key to this game here? Let me know in the comments section below. And hey, if you have not liked today's video, help us out here at Falcons Today Against the Browns Report. Hit that thumbs up icon, and we will see you all later with more Falcons news and rumors.